Welcome students. In this session, we'll discuss about different types of storage lipids and lipid as cofactor and pigments. Already we came to know from the previous sessions that lipid can function in a diverse way. Okay, so first of all, it is a very important structural components for plant and animal both. The another important function of lipid is it acts as a energy reservoir. That means the storage molecule of energy. Okay, now first of all, we'll see what is that storage lipids. What are those storage lipids? Okay, so the majority of lipids in biological system function either as a source of stored metabolic energy. Very small amount of special lipids act as both intracellular messengers and extracellular messengers, okay, such as hormones, pheromones, like this. Okay, so amphipathic lipids are actually the molecules that allow membrane to form compartments. Okay, so first of all, we came to know that it is a energy storage molecule or energy reservoir molecule. Next, it can act as a signaling molecule. Okay, the intracellular messengers or extracellular messengers, both ways. Okay, and finally, it also can act as a important structural components of any biological membranes because of its amphipathic nature. Now, what are the storage lipids? Okay, the major class of lipids is the storage lipids. These are commonly known as fats and oils. Okay, they're universally used as storage form of energy. These store the maximum. These can store the maximum amount of energy, like the amount is like 9 kilocalorie per gram, okay, as compared to carbohydrate and protein, which have only 4 kilocalorie of per gram. Okay, so you can see that lipids can actually store maximum amount of energy compared to carbohydrates or protein. Okay, what are the two major types of lipids, storage lipids? First of all, oils and fats. Okay, what is oils? Chemically, it is a mixture of triglycerols. Okay, chemically, it is a mixture of triglycerols that is liquid, but it contains a high proportion of unsaturated fatty acid. Example, linoleic acid. Okay, so there are two forms of storage lipids found in nature. One is oils, another one is fats. So what is oil? It is chemically a mixture of triglycerols, okay, and it is liquid because of the presence of high amount of unsaturated fatty acids. Linoleic acid is example of this type of lipids. Another one is fats, okay. So what is fat? Chemically, it is a mixture of, again, triglycerols, okay, that is solid in room temperature because it contains a high proportion of saturated fatty acids. Okay, the example is palmitic acids. Okay, so there are two types of storage lipids found in nature, oils and fats. Basically, all these are different types of mixtures of triglycerols. Okay, so example of oil, lipid present in oil, mainly example is linoleic acid. Lipid present in fat, examples palmitic acids. Okay, so fatty acids that are stored in adipose tissue as triglycerides or triglycerols are a major energy source in higher animals. Large amount of lipids are stored in adipose tissues. In higher animals, adipose tissue consisting of adipocyte cells or fat cells is widely distributed over the body, throughout the body, mainly under the skin, around deep blood vessels and in the abdominal cavity, and to a lesser degree in association with muscles. But in case of fishes, adipose tissues mainly distributed among muscle fibers, but sharks and other cartilaginous fishes store lipid in the liver. Okay. So these are very brief. What is the storage lipid? What are the functions of this type of lipid? What are the chemical components of storage lipid? And what are the sites of storage? Next, we will see how lipid can function as signaling molecule. So first of all, we have to know what is the purpose of this signaling system. So it is actually based on the fact that cell and environment interactions. So all cells are able to sense and respond to substances present in their external environments. The ability to respond to external stimuli enhances a cell's chance of survival, especially in the multicellular organism. Chemicals that could pass in through the cell membrane and bind directly to the proteins inside the cell and modulate their activities or act as a signaling molecule. And this is the actually fundamental few lines from which you can get the concept that why we need signaling molecule. So it actually signaling molecule is a very important part of any living organism, because it can actually helps to respond the organism through the different kinds of environmental stimuli. It is a very critical procedure, but in a very simplified way, we'll see how lipid molecules can function as signaling molecule. So what are the signaling molecule? Very simply, we can say that signaling molecules are the molecules that are responsible for transmitting information between cells in your body. Okay, in your body, or if you think more critically, cell-to-cell interactions or cell-to-environment interactions. Okay, so most of them have been highly conserved in evolution. So all these signaling molecules, you can see that they are very highly conserved throughout the evolution. Different types of cells respond differently to same signal molecule. Another point is very important. Depending on the type of cells, the different types of cells can read a same signal molecule in different ways. Okay, so what are the basic signaling pathway? That is, in animals, signaling by extracellularly. Signaling happen extracellularly. Secreted molecules can be classified into three types: endocrine, paracrine, or autocrine, based on the distance over which the signal acts. In endocrine signaling, signaling molecules we called as hormones. It can act on target cells distant from their site of synthesis by cells of endocrine organs. So first one is endocrine signaling, where which of the signaling molecule act in endocrine signaling. These are called as hormones. Okay, hormones can act on target cells which are distant from their site of synthesis. Okay, so this type of signaling molecules are called endocrine signaling system. Okay, next one is the paracrine signaling, where you can see that signaling molecules released by a cell only affect target cell in close proximity to it. So where is the factory in very nearby, it actually acts. So that type of system is known as paracrine signaling system. So the signaling molecule relevant to paracrine signaling system only affect target cells in very close proximity of it. Another one is there, that is autocrine signaling system. Here cells respond to substance that are themselves release. So cells are preparing their signaling molecules, and only that molecules are act as a signaling molecule. And on that time, we call it as autocrine signaling system. Okay, next, extracellular signaling molecules are critical regulators of physiology and development of organisms. These are many different types of signals, okay, including peptides, small lipophilic molecules, small hydrophilic molecule, and gases. Okay, so you can see these group, the small lipophilic molecules, that means they are rich in they're non-polar actually in chemically. Okay, so that's why we can call it as lipophilic molecule. Okay, so this particular group of molecule are actually lipid in nature. Okay, so binding of extracellular signaling molecules to cell surface receptors trigger intracellular pathway that ultimately modulate their metabolism function or development. So what are these different types of extracellular signaling molecule? You can see that first class lipid-based, first class of this lipid-based signaling extracellular signaling molecules are steroid hormones. Another one is there, that is prostaglandins. So steroid hormones, they are actually lipid-soluble molecules and interact with receptors in the cytosol or nucleus. For example, estrogen, progesterone, all these are this type of lipid-based signaling molecule. So examples are estrogen and progesterone of this lipid-based signaling molecule. Next, prostaglandin. Prostaglandin are also lipid derived from arachidonic acid. You have to remember this name. So prostaglandin are also this type of signaling molecule, lipid, which is actually chemically a lipid. Okay, and it is derived from arachidonic acid. So prostaglandins play a key role in the generation of the inflammatory response. That means pain, different kinds of inflammatory response. And this particular molecule, this particular lipid, prostaglandin, it can play a key role in the generation of different kind of inflammatory response and pain response also. Then they act as autocrine or paracrine factors. So already we know what is autocrine and paracrine system. So prostaglandin also act as a autocrine or paracrine mediators. Okay, whereas steroid hormones are actually act as endocrine signaling molecule. Okay, so next you will see all these are actually related with extracellular signaling system. Now there is another type of signaling system that is called as intracellular signaling system. So what is that, or what are those particular mediators? So intracellular signaling molecules relays signal received at receptor. Okay, ultimately results in signaling cascade. Okay, signaling cascade means there is a series of biochemical reactions like which can initiate by some stimuli, okay, by some signals, particular signals it requires to be activated. Okay, so these signals are actually provided by this particular intracellular signaling molecules. Okay, so that's why we are saying that intracellular signaling molecules actually transmitting or relaying the signals, okay, and which ultimately causes which ultimately initiates a series of consecutive biochemical reactions. Okay, that is also called as signaling cascade. Okay, it transduce and integrate signals before relaying a signal forward. Okay, so another fact is there, that is these particular signaling molecules actually transduce and integrate different signals before relaying a signal forward. Intracellular signaling complexes enhances the speed, efficiency, and specificity of the response. So very important few factors are there. Most important is the specificity of the response. Okay, so this particular signaling system is very specific. Okay, and very fast, efficient, and very specific in nature. Next, a combination of small and large intracellular signaling molecule actually relays all these signals. Lipids can freely diffuse through the membranes. So it is very important property required for this type of signaling molecules. Okay, so most of the signaling molecule are actually based chemically lipid type. Okay, lipid messengers bind a protein target such as receptor. Okay, and receptor different types of enzymes. Okay, kinases, phosphatases, which in turn mediate the effects of the lipids on the specific cellular response. So in this way, in very brief, we can outline how this signaling molecules functions. So basically these molecules come and just bind to a particular cellular receptor. That means it is a protein molecule exposed in the outer membrane of the cell or inside cells also. It can interact with different kinds of enzymes, that is kinases, protease, which intermediate the effects actually. Okay. Next example of lipid-based intracellular signaling molecules are ceramide and sphingolipids. Another class is there, that is phosphatidyl inositol bisphosphate. So we are talking about different types of intracellular signaling molecule which are actually lipid-based. So what are those? Ceramides, sphingolipids, and phosphatidyl inositol bisphosphate. So first of all, we will see what is ceramides. Ceramides are a family of oxalipid molecules. You can see here the structure. It is very important. A ceramide is composed of sphingosine and a fatty acid joined by a amide bond. Here you can see the unique structure of ceramide class of molecules. These are long fatty acid tail. You can see this is the amide bond. Okay, this is the COONH bond. You can see the fatty acid tail, long hydrocarbon trail of fatty acid. Tail of fatty acid is actually connected to the sphingosine. Already you know what is sphingosine. It is a type of alcohol. Okay, so alcohol and one amine group is also there in sphingosine. So this fatty acid is actually making an amide bond. Okay, covalently it is joined to that particular sphingosine alcohol through a amide bond. This is the unique structure of ceramide. So what is chemically? It is a composed of sphingosine alcohol. This is alcohol and the fatty acid. Okay, this is the fatty acid. This is the hydrocarbon tail. This is a carboxyl group, carbonyl functional group, which is actually making a amide bond with the particular sphingosine alcohol. So ceramides are found in high concentrations within the cell membrane of eukaryotic cells. So it is cell membrane of all the eukaryotic cells are rich in ceramide type of molecules. Okay, lipids. Their component lipids that make up sphingomyelin, one of the major lipids in the lipid bilayer. Ceramide can participate in a variety of cellular signaling process. Example include the regulation of differentiation. Okay, cell-to-cell differentiation, proliferation, and program cell death or apoptosis of the cells. Okay, so signaling, it can act as a different kinds of cellular signaling processes. Few of these are regulation of differentiation, proliferations, and apoptosis of cell. Next, you can see phosphatidyl inositol or inositol phospholipid also we can say consists of a family of lipids made of a phosphate group, two fatty acid chains, and one inositol molecule. Here you can see inositol is nothing but a sugar molecule. Inositol is nothing but a sugar molecule. Now, if you see this structure, you can identify each and every components of this particular lipid. Here you can see this is our sugar molecule. That means inositol. Okay, inositol is actually covalently linked with the phosphate group. That particular phosphate group is again making a phosphodiester bond actually with that particular fatty acids. With this particular fatty acids. Here you can see these two fatty acids chains are there, which are connected with this particular phosphate group. Phosphate group is again making a ester bond with the inositol molecule. Okay, so fatty acid, phosphate, and inositol. These are the three structural components of one phosphatidyl inositol molecule. Okay, they represent a class of the phosphatidyl glycerides. Typically, phosphatidyl inositols form a minor component on the cytosolic side of the eukaryotic cell membrane. That means it is a very important, though it is a minor component, but it is very important because it is an important signaling molecule. Okay, phosphatidyl inositols form a minor component on the cytosolic side. So all of you know that means lipid membranes, biological lipid membranes are the double layer structure, and these two layers are asymmetric to each other. That means structurally and chemically they are different to each other. So the cytosolic side is one part of the lipid membrane, okay, one layer. The cytosolic site of eukaryotic cell membrane is actually, you can find the phosphatidyl inositols there, though it is a minor component, but it is a very major, it play a very major and instrumental role. So phosphatidyl inositol play important roles in lipid signaling, cell signaling, and membrane trafficking also. The inositol ring can be phosphorylated by variety of kinases. These hydroxyl groups are actually very important for this its functions. It can be phosphorylated by different kind of enzymes, okay, and this on the 3, 4, and 5 hydroxyl groups in 7 different combinations, okay. So this is very important, and by this structural modifications, okay, it actually rely different types of signals, okay. Phosphatidyl inositol produces important second messenger like IP3 and diacyl glycerols or DAG, okay. In very brief, we are telling it. If you are interested, you can study more about all this. So next we'll see what are the different few important more lipid molecules. Prostaglandins contain 5 ring originating from the chain of arachidonic acid. Prostaglandin, already we know that elevate body temperature and causes inflammation and pain. Okay, another important type of lipid molecule is there, that is thromboxanes. It has 6-membered ring containing one ether group. They are produced by platelets, okay, and act in the formation of blood clotting and the reduction of blood flow to the site of a clot. So this name you have to remember, that is thromboxanes, okay. So thromboxane, what is thromboxane? It is a lipid. It is a lipid molecule actually. It has a 6-membered ring structure containing one ether, which is actually important. It is produced by platelets, okay, and it acts in the formation of blood clots and the reduction of blood flow to the site of clot. Next one is leukotrienes. First found in leukocytes, contain 3 conjugated double bonds. That's why it is called as leukotrienes. 3 double bonds, and first it was found in from leukocytes. That's why it is called as leukotrienes. Okay. For example, leukotriene D4 derived from leukotriene A4 induces contraction of smooth muscle lining the airways to the lungs. Okay, so these are 3 important types of lipid molecule, and you can see that how much diverse functions they can play. Okay, so first one is prostaglandin. What is its important function? It is a very important inflammation mediator and pain mediators also in body. Next one is thromboxanes. It is actually helps to form the blood to clot and the reduction of blood flow to the site of a clot. Next one is leukotrienes. It is actually it can contract the smooth muscles, okay, smooth muscle lining in the airways of lungs, okay. So these are the diverse biological function of lipid molecules. That's why lipid is so much important biomolecule. Next, we will see the different type of lipid-based vitamins are also there. Vitamin A, D, E, K, all of you know, all these are lipid-soluble vitamins, okay. Vitamin E and K are actually act as a, vitamin K is actually act as a cofactors in different oxidation reduction reactions also. Okay, so they have to remember this thing, that vitamin K is act as a cofactors in different oxidation reduction reactions. Okay, next, the lipids are also can act as a pigment molecule. So what is it? Pigment molecule, lipid with a system of conjugated dye molecules. So you know that lipid molecule can have different number of multiple number of double bonds. Okay, if these double bonds are in conjugated manner, okay, only that time this particular type of the lipid molecule show another property. Okay, it can act as a pigment molecule. That means it can absorb visible lights. Okay, some of these act as light capturing pigments in vision and photosynthesis also. So now you can see another type of functions of lipid molecules, okay, as pigment molecules. So where you can find different type of visions and photosynthesis reactions, you can find this type of pigment molecules are acting as absorbing the visible lights. Okay, other produces natural colorations. Okay, so along with that role, photosynthetic and vision role, it also can produce different types of natural colorations. Okay, such as the orange of pumpkins, orange color of pumpkins and carrots, and yellow of canary feathers. All these are actually different types of lipid molecules. Okay, one simple example name it is carotene. Okay, it is a natural pigment found in carrots. Okay, so thank you, students. From this session, you came to know how much diverse functions one this particular chemical class, that means lipid, can play. So first of all, we came to know that what are the important lipid-based signaling molecule, extracellular signaling molecule, as well as intracellular signaling molecule. Then we came to know what are the different types of vitamins, lipid-based vitamins are there, cofactors are there. Okay, and then we came to know what are the different types of pigment molecules are there, which can act in different biological process in photosynthesis to absorb lights and visions process also, as well as it can produce different variety of colors, natural dye, act as a natural dye. Okay, so thank you, students. By this video, I am ending this session as well as this particular unit also.